But the fact that you did and the fact that you came back means that, you know, we're the same kind of crazy. All right? Yes, we can be the same kind of crazy. All right? So I just wanted to be upfront about that. Okay, so now, should we roll now? I guess. Let's give it a whirl. Shit. Okay. Come with me to 1692. So I've been, you know, in this period of kind of like my brain being refurbished. I have been thinking a lot about my own behavior and how people perceive me, okay? And of course, every time I get a chance to pick the next material that I want to work on, I read a bunch of things and I see what resonates. Like, what's the thing that's like right on top, okay? And and I read The Crucible. And I was like, ooh, we're close. We're close. But the only thing I didn't like about that is that I don't care about John Proctor. Okay?
Talk about it.
Right? Talk about it. So what I did was I read Arthur Miller's biography, Time Bends, autobiography. And he talks about how, you know, he wrote that play during the McCarthy era where people were pointing, people were pointing out, because the way that the system worked at that time, if you accused someone else, you went free, which means they didn't actually care if you were a witch. They cared about you accusing your neighbor more, okay? So that was very warm. I felt very warm about that. And then the next thing that I thought of is, why don't we hear from any of the women in this story? Why don't we know what Tituba went through? She's also Native American. She's never been cast properly, okay? So I did a lot of research to try to figure out what like the real story behind the witch trials is. And the reason is, I've kind of locked onto, is that if I lived then, I would have been burnt to a crisp. Okay? There is no way I would have made it out of that alive, okay? So, it's so true. It's so true. You know, I'm a little singed even now, if you know what I mean. So I was looking at these women who ended up being accused, and these were women, like one of them, Bridget Bishop, decided to patch her clothes with color as opposed to the drab thing. Witch, okay? You know, these are young girls who were doing some fortune telling. They would crack an egg into a glass of cold water and read the egg white shapes as they froze. Witch. Okay? So part of me is thinking about what it's like to be a woman that represents the other. Okay? And I've been thinking about that a lot because I feel like we're on the cusp of an era in which I am in danger, in a figurative sense, right? Women like me. And when people are afraid, they start to pinpoint others. And that's when things get dangerous, right? I would be the first on the chopping block. So I really want to tell the story of the Salem Witch Trials without giving a fuck about John Proctor. And talk about the women and what it is like to be accused. What it is like to be othered and to be seen as othered. Because one thing that I'm realizing about myself in this newfound clarity is that I think I'm not scary or weird, you know, because that's how I can function in life. I think, you know, this is my normal. And so I think I'm like, I was talking about this with Mom, like there are people who are puppies and you're like, hi, oh, you're cute and I'm not afraid of you. Let me touch you. You're very sweet. And then there are spiders and you're like, I hate you. I want you dead. Right? And we have innate responses to these things. They're built into us. Okay? And I think I'm puppy, but I get treated as spider sometimes. And so I'm interested in that. I'm interested in how we become spiders, even with the best of intentions and how that ended up with people being accused of witchcraft and being hung for it. Based on rumor, based on no evidence. So that's my personal interest in this project. I've already started writing some of it. You know, I want there to be sermons. I want to rent this house that is a historically preserved home upstate where Jaime maybe can come help film. And so part of it I would like to be an inclusive theatrical experience, and part of it I would like to engage more with a film type mentality and then have more of a preserved file at the end. But for example, I would like the court when they accused, that I want to be theater. And I want to make everyone who comes to see it wear black. And they're fake Puritans, right? And then we can accuse, you know, then they'll be participating in sort of an engaged way with the court system that I will reenact from that time. But I think modern language, because I can't. I can't with the dialect, I can't. You know, so anyway, so I want there to be a live component, which is a lot about the accusation of women who are different, who are seen as different, who don't make sense, who don't fall in, who don't want the things that we're supposed to want, who don't like fit snugly into the cookie cutter, which I never have, and I don't think I ever will. And so I guess this is part of me making my own cookie cutter, is making theater where I feel like people might feel less alone or less othered. And at least then the focus isn't on who's been accused of being a witch, but those who accuse and why they do it. Why do they see some of us as fighter, right? What makes that happen? So, okay. So it's a weird project. There's some film stuff. There's going to be a live theater thing. There's hopefully Jaime involved. And that's the end of sort of my personal tirade about why I want this to be my next project. I know it's not super structured right now as an idea, but I believe in it, and I know it's the next thing I need to make. There's always like one, I'm just like, it's like I get, whoop, that's it, gotta do it. So, and people are gonna be like, why not do the Crucible? It's like, because I don't care. I don't care about that guy. He slept with a teenager. Why should I care about that? And yeah, but the reason Arthur Miller cared about him is because his friend Elia Kazan. Yeah. So that was a holding, you know, character for that relationship he had. So, and I don't have that kind of relationship to the trials. So. Anyway, that's my whole talk. Sorry it's not more organized. My brain is recovering. And I think it will hopefully come back stronger than ever. And thank you for your support. And I also thank you for your, you know, keeping me accountable. And I also want to just, since I have you guys here, any brief apology for if I've been a bitch. Because, oh no, Mom! How dare you? Okay, no, yes, I've been a bitch to Mom. Oh, I was like, how dare you come in on me on the shower? So yes, I have been a bitch. I have been a bitch, and I apologize, and I want to do better. And I think that's, you know, the best I can do right now is want to do better and give it the best shot I can give it right now, okay? So, all right, that's the weird talk. All right, so there's 10 minutes now. You can, okay. Thanks. Thank you. So, you know, no one, you know, because this is all just like my whole life has been one long explorations. I think all of ours are. But I'm so blessed to have, you know, parents that help me fund my artistic journey, right? But it's always like, what am I going to do next? Like, I have to feel the right path forward, you know? And this is it right now. This is the one for me. So any thoughts, any responses, anything anybody wants to say? Yes, Sam.
Is there like, you know, obviously there's the prototype, the woman who doesn't fit in, but like, yeah. Would you, in this project, are you drawn towards it like being around a central, not like a John Pop, but like a female, like a person that is all happening around like one person's story? Or are you are you imagining? And I'm so it's so sorry. Like
Yeah.
if it's too soon to answer,
No.
feel free. But like, or are we thinking like an interweb? You know, like Trojan Woman. Really, like there's
a
what-
core group of women.
There's a core group of
Same.
women.
I want that. I want
Okay,
that.
So it's a
Tituba
balance.
is the first one who says, yes, I'm a witch, and names other people.
Okay.
And I want Abigail Williams, Betty Paris, the first to be afflicted, because they were acting in court, right?
Yeah.
Somebody says something. So it is already a performative piece. Like, I'm not making it up, right? So I'm interested in the performative nature of accusing people and having those seizures on the floor and what have you. And if that happened to you in a courtroom, you'd be like, somebody's a witch, because what's this, right?
Right.
So yes, there is a core group of women from the original, it's not a story, from the original history, that were actually both accusing and those who were accused. And I want to focus on those two grouplings of women and examine those kind of the dark nature of what they were interested in.
Like the different experiences that led them to both
Yeah.
sides.
What would make me say, yes, I'm a witch, and so are they? And what would make me say, oh, I'm bewitched?
Yeah.
Right? Those are the two things that I'm like, that's what's interesting about this story. That's what I'm interested in, right? And the other thing, this is kind of a side thing, I'm still interested in questions, but I've always wanted to incorporate opera into my pieces that I've done. And it's extremely expensive and hard to do, but luckily tonight it can happen. But yes, so a lot, the music that you'll be hearing tonight, I'm going to introduce and stuff, and it's all part of this dark theme. But yes, so I just want to thank Stephanie Bell and Manuel Arellano for being here for me. Yes, and Denver Crawford on projections, Jaime Acevedo on filming. So yes, and Isaac on snacks. Thanks, Isaac on snacks. Yeah, nice. So yes, does that answer your question?
Yes.
My bad. Okay, yes. Anybody else? Yes, Malcolm.
I smiled a lot when you said that you didn't think what you were saying was structured or not. I think it was very structured. I think what you said was very timely.
Good.
I think it speaks to everything that I've been working on personally for myself too, the collective consciousness of a group of people, especially in that time where religion was the basis of how people lived their lives, right? And religion based on what men understood religion to be, right?
And
men's
good and
personification or persona of what women should be, right?
Yes, the
king,
idea of a
the
woman.
mother. So if women are not playing those parts, then they cannot be God's children. And I think it's fantastic too, because then you go into the psychoanalysis of human beings, right? Freud says that we make decisions based on our innate survival mechanisms, right? So I can accuse you.
Fight or flight.
You have more money than me because you married a rich man who was in love with me when I was
Yes,
in
I
high
want
school.
your land.
So now
Witch.
you're a witch. And then we go to, as we progress, Adler, who says that we accuse and do things based on social structure, right? There's a society living because we want to be cool at the party, so we're going to call you a witch. Because you're the coolest person in the party.
Happens.
Right, and then
Still
we progress to now, then when Carl Jung, and what he understands is like, you know, the archetypes become a thing. And archetypes, as that not similar to religion, Bible.
And my therapist is all over this idea.
villains.
She's a young lady too. I
Yeah.
mean, young.
Jungian. Yeah. So I think it's very timely.
Jungian.
You're right. I think it talks to human persona, who we are,
Thank you.
psychologically human beings.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I do feel it. I feel it like ping way down.
Yeah,
Come
it's the
back
most
up.
human thing.
Boom. Yes.
Yes.
Evil, not.
Yes.
What are
choices
we?
made together.
And we're both.
Right. We're both.
We're all both.
There's no-
Right. So I don't believe in witches. I certainly believe in evil
Yeah.
because it lives in all of
In
us
all of us, yeah.
in different, amounts and
Mhm.
depending on circumstances. That's when it pops out.
Mhm.
So I'm going to be examining that.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah.
So that's why when it's
Right, right.
dark, it's creepy.
Yeah.
Yes.
I mean, do you think that you can connect it to, this impulse being, brought up under totalitarian regimes, informing on your neighbor and things like that? So is that something that can be brought into the story, or do you feel like it would go afield of where you're starting? Obviously,
In the
Miller was-
3-movie version,
Yeah.
Mhm.
the triptych, if you will. I wanted one of the films to be about a professor who's teaching a class on why Christian nationalism is un-American, which is a book I've been reading. And I think that has a lot to do with where we are in this time and politically. And I think it has a lot to do with how much anxiety I'm feeling about this era and how much more I need to be around women like me so I can feel safe and, you know, keep my rights and, you know, being like, I never thought I would ever see somebody like be rounded up and put into, you know, put on a train and taken out of this country. And the fact that that is even possible in our lifetime still. And like that we don't have a plan. Like even the good people, we don't have a plan. Like, am I gonna stand in front of the train? I should, we should all. But somebody's gotta do that. And we don't, you know, we're just gonna watch it happen. I mean, like I felt like we watched COVID happen. Right? So why can't that happen again? And it's because we need a good plan to match the bad plan. And so that's been really frustrating to me that I don't feel like, I'm like, where's the good, you know, where's the people who say, no, it's not okay. So, yeah, I think there is a lot of darkness out there and I think I am responding to it. And, yeah. Did that answer that? Shit. Okay, good. Thanks.
Just Phil's
Phil's awesome.
I actually took a totalitarianism and everyday life class in college, which is one of my favorite classes. But I'm wondering if there's anything, because they're more recent, like, you know, Nazi Germany or Stalin, like, so there might be more texts on the psychology of the people who are in that place. And I'm wondering if there's just some, like, if there's insight from that, like just behaviorally, like not having to use the little thing, but to then bring, because like,
oh yeah, there's bottomless research. Bottomless. Right. Because we keep doing this as humans.
It's history.
This repeats. This is one of those things where we're like, oh, we did that thing again. That's horrible.
Yeah.
We could burn people. I mean, like, I really do believe we're closer to that time now than I've ever felt before.
Yeah. I think we purposely sometimes burn somebody for the group to feel like they have a turn.
Oh, good. Evil's out. Yeah. Good, you're done. Thank God, we're all fine now. Yes, I think we need a sacrifice.
Yes.
We do.
Yes, we do.
And I'm like, who the fuck is that gonna be?
Right.
And I feel like it would look like this. Yeah.
I also think it's just so interesting how sometimes I think when you're in the current day, it's so easy for us to look back on the past and history with some kind of like condescension a little bit of being like, oh, but you know, that could never happen, or like, oh, why didn't they think of this, or why didn't they do this? And I think sometimes when you hold that mirror, I mean, at the end of the day, I feel like theater is a mirror, and I feel like when you are focusing on something that, is 400 years ago, but sometimes that's what people need to realize, like, oh, that's actually, I see that right now. And so, I think that it's actually I'm feeling that too.
You feel that?
Yeah. And so even you just saying that, like even you just starting to talk about like witch hunts and stuff, immediately starts sparking things for me.
Yeah.
It's also interesting.
I get an itch. I get this crazy itch.
And I also find it interesting how,
thanks, babe.
because you're talking about like John Proctor, like that story. The thing is like, it's so funny how men currently have kind of weaponized the term witch hunt for their own accountability or whatever, you know, for their own defense. And
it's
so,
like, who labels himself as good or Christ-like now?
Yeah.
And like, who puts that mantle on so that somebody else can be not that?
Yeah. But I think that it just feels very prevalent right now, actually.
Good.
So that feels
good.
Yeah,
and I'm inviting all of you to participate in any way you want. Lovely David has already agreed to steam costumes if we go upstate. he's like, you get 4 hours. 4 hours later. I'm like, yes, I will use it. Great. So there's a million ways that you could help, contribute, or be involved if you want to. I'm gonna need people who can proofread. Once I have an act ready, I'm gonna need people who can. Oh yes, brilliant writer. Thank you. And then I'm gonna need people to help me, like, you know, oh God, you know, we're gonna go upstate. You're gonna need a van. Who has cars? Yes, you have cars, you have cars, and Eve has a car. So like that's the kind of thing that I'm gonna be asking for a lot of favors for me to like move this forward. And if I do the professor version, he works at a school. So anyway, so you see what I'm saying? I'm gonna need a lot of help to get through this, and especially now that I'm in Sensi Town. Right? Yes.
I think it seems to be very personal to you, and if you do shoot this, I think you should be behind the scenes and in it too. I think you should kind of
In
play
it?
a role. Yeah, you should do that.
I am witch.
Yeah, I don't know.
Oh my god, I could play that in my sleep. Okay. Thank you. I'll think about that.
Then
I will
also
think about it seriously.
something resonated with me. That I think I forgot who said, but it's something to the effect that there's evil in everyone. So to show the evil in everyone within that could be interesting.
Yeah.
The hunted. I don't know.
I'm like wrestling with my own demons now. I mean, that's like me wanting to do this doesn't make me good.
Right.
Do you know what I'm saying? I'm not like, ooh, look, all the evil's out there.
Right.
That's the problem. You need to see it here and there
Let's see it all.
so that no one's an other.
Yeah.
Yes.
We're all that.
And recognize how you may be contributing.
Yes.
To something.
Yes. And that's all, I mean, clarity is all about that. You're like, oh, wait, I was so rude.
Yeah.
Yes. Yes.
And so I love the topics on the collective level, you know, like the collective experience, what is society, how they, you know, but also something that strikes me is like the individual, the proclivity to like, or just the necessity to maintain the status quo. You know, like even just when it comes to the nervous system, trying to kick a habit, like it like literally is going against nature to like go out of your way to like to change the norm, right?
Just, yeah.
And I feel like maybe there's something to be said, like the individual level of that, then also to because groups of people also want to maintain their status quo, like the threat of like casting or making it like, oh, maybe this isn't good enough. And obviously there are recent experiences that might like people will do what they need to do to maintain their status quo in a community, but it's also
And insulate.
Yes, but
it's true.
Like, but how it starts from like a molecular, like individual to then like I don't know, just
Yeah.
something.
No, we have a writing date Tuesday. Yeah.
But also when we're thinking about these, like specifically, like to go into the women of the trials, like I have always been struck by the fact of those stories of the young women who did do the fainting and the like
What did they get?
not dying, right? Like isn't that
Well, the
the
you either had to be an accused or
right, exactly. But I don't know if it's social currency. I think it might just be safety.
it could have been boredom. It could have been
Or
lots of things.
attention.
Yeah, attention. Yeah, they had zero
if
power.
And if you're in a society that gives you zero power, that gives you no way to be a person other than to keep yourself on this side of the fence, is it then evil to
act out,
to do this thing, to faint in court, to when your brain's not even fully fucking developed?
Yes.
Like
and speaking in tongues, like
Yeah.
Yes, I totally get it too. It's not that I don't feel for those chicks too.
Yeah.
I feel for everybody
I'm
in the
worried
story.
about Betty. I'm always worried about Betty.
Poor little Betty Paris. Was she like 9? She was 9. I mean, she's 11. Something ridiculous. Yeah, I know.
Because we also, I mean, I think everybody manipulates their behavior for safety sometimes.
Yes.
And it's like, you know, when you're walking down the street and someone starts saying something to you that feels a little threatening. When women are like, or people are just, when you smile to something that is actually very threatening to you, or when you laugh at a weird comment,
Yeah.
you know, it's just like somehow that, kind of just to add on to what you were saying, like, what is for safety, what is for status quo, is that how much is that tied together?
Yeah, what a normal is that a normal reaction to laugh at that? Because it's
fight
trying
or
to
flight.
dispel your
Yeah.
fear.
Yeah.
You know, dispel your fear.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a lot. This is a big
So
thing.
many
It's a lot. It's
layers.
super juicy. That's why this is going to be a long writing project. But I did get some free space. The Bechdel project got me free rehearsal space in April. So that's good. That's going to save me like $1,000. Yes.
I'm gonna make this my last, because otherwise I can just.
That's okay. No. Yeah, we should wrap it up.
Yes.
And then we're just going to boom through this. and we're gonna boom
Yeah.
through that.
Yeah.
Sound good? Okay, and I have just little intros and why I feel like these pieces that you're gonna hear are related to this story, and that's it. And then we snack, we hang. That's it. Cool. Yeah. Painless.
My last question was just because
Is this your man, by the way?
Yes.
What's up?
Yeah. Great. Nice to meet you.
Hi. What's your first name again?
Chris.
Chris. Anna. Hi. What's up? Yeah.
You guys have heard a lot about each other.
Yeah.
But you guys keep mentioning ages, and I'm wondering if there's something also about the fact that these teenage girls, like that
Puberty, man.
yes, and there's something that's so scary about someone discovering their sexuality, like that new, and just like the teenage, like if
Oh, yeah,
that you're gonna be like
hormones.
leaning into that.
Mm.
Hormones, yeah.
Yeah, but I can't cast him that young.
Well, but you could, age down. You
Yeah.
can, and I think that an adult would probably be better to represent that anyway. Because they've already
Oh
experienced
yes.
it.
And
You know.
writing on the floor and stuff.
Yeah,
No, I'm gonna need women. I'm gonna
Of
need women that
course.
look young.
of course.
Yes.
Of course. But
Wink, wink.
She's
She's got a great baby face. Yeah. Yeah. So yeah.
Selfishly, what
Yes.
do the men, how do you see the men in the film?
Oh my God. Depends. It depends. I see a lot of different men in the show. We have a Reverend Paris. So that's Betty's dad. So somebody, and he had more power the more people were scared.
Right.
And how does a sermon play into people being scared, and how does that help preserve a community that's in fear, right? It preserves, right? So so there's gonna be Reverend, there's gotta be there's like magistrates who help to run the court. There's like a judge type guy. It's not a real, but there are like, they didn't have a court system yet, right? But there's a prosecuting type guy also. There's also Tituba's husband,
Right.
who I'm interested in looking into because she's always had way too minor a story in what is a really important, shift in this narrative. So there's men involved. I don't know if they're going to be good. I want one good one.
Well,
You know
I
what I
was
mean? Because
gonna
I'm never anti-men.
Right. Well,
That's
I
the
was gonna
thing.
say that,
Yeah.
At least in my mind, I could be completely wrong.
Yeah.
But the quote unquote I would think is the good and bad of the men in this situation.
They gotta have both,
Being
too.
On economical situations, right? Like if I'm the preacher, I'm probably the most powerful person.
No, actually, they didn't pay his salary.
Really?
Yeah.
But they had like the currency of the people coming to church every
Yeah,
Sunday.
they didn't want to pay him.
Really? Okay.
No.
So who was the most
He
powerful
didn't even get his
person in the-
firewood that they promised him.
Really?
Yes.
Oh, interesting. I would've
Yes.
thought
So the
that
scarier they were, the more they needed him and the more that they would give.
Ah, okay.
So that's also money is also a gross undercurrent of this
Yeah.
whole thing. Like with land, property, money, yes, absolutely. So and then Cotton Mather and Increase Mather. What a name!
Yeah.
Actually, somebody said it's Mather, and I was like, that's worse. So now it's Mather. No, I'm just kidding. But there's, The Wonders of the Invisible World is a book that was written about demons in the woods to make sure people knew that this shit was real, so they had something to be scared of. And whether it was the French, the French or the, Native Americans in the thing, it's like, be scared of what's in the woods because it's evil, because it's not Puritan. There's men, and they will both be good and bad because we all are. There is no good, bad, only, right? Okay. So that's the boring part. Ta-da! Or that's a pitch. So that's a pitch. Pitch over, okay? Thank you so much for listening to that long diatribe, and thank you for your suggestions. And please, if you have a thought, please email me. I'm going to be putting all these ideas together, and I don't know what they're going to braid into yet. But something will come out, right? Something goes in, something comes out. That's how Anna works. So we'll see how it comes out, and then we'll make it better from there. But I have a brilliant creative community here of people I trust and brilliant minds. And so if there's any way you want to be involved or you want to help, or if you're like, hey, send me your first draft when you get it. I don't care if it's total shite. Please. I would really appreciate it because I need a little bit more of a system of structure and help as the old noggin comes back to life. Comes roaring back to life.
Village.
Yes, I need my village now. I do. I need my village now. So yeah, if you have a dumb picture of a dog, send it to me. Please. No, seriously, now's the time. I'm serious. Now's the time. So thank you for all your support, and thank you for being here. I literally thought no one would come. You're like, because you get in your mind about stuff. You're like, I am bad. No one cares. So I'm glad. Thank you for coming, and making me feel valuable and listening, and all your great ideas. Okay, so now, where's my phone?
I got it.
Thanks, babe. Can you give me this also?
Can
I also say that Isaac has put up with a lot of crazy recently, so thank you, Isaac.
Yes, thank you so much for coming.
He was like already padding our bedroom. Oh, poor thing. Okay, so now we're gonna get to we are now 7:30. Oh, good, we're on time. Yes. Okay. So now we're into the Manuel Arellano and Denver Crawford section of the evening. So this is music. We're gonna do the music, and then we take our snack break, official, and then we'll do Stephanie right after that, and Stephanie and Manuel. Let me just get to the intro for this thing. We're starting with Schubert's Serenade, which is also known as Ständchen. Did I say it right? Okay, great. I suck at German. And it's a musical expression of a lover's yearning. And the piece was collected after his death in what was called the Swan Song cycle. So his final, and I think about, I can't remember exactly who it was, but somebody said the Lord's Prayer for the last time before they were hung. I think about what is a swan song? When you know it's over. When you're looking at your accusers and you know it's over. So that's this feeling, but with love. It's a final heartfelt expression, okay? And then I found a couple of quotes from Schubert because I love knowing why people wrote things and a little bit more about them. Schubert was like a Van Gogh, meaning that during his lifetime, he was considered a nobody. Okay? And he didn't receive recognition until 30 years after he died. And God bless all artists who make it through this life making stuff and nobody cares. So here's the two quotes that rang really close to home for this project and this piece for me. His first quote that I loved is, "When I wished to sing of love, it turned to sorrow. And when I wished, I'm gonna start again. When I wished to sing of love, it turned to sorrow. And when I wished to sing of sorrow, it was transformed for me into love." So you can hear both. And the second one is, "Nobody understands another's sorrow and nobody another's joy. People imagine they can reach each other, but in reality, they only pass each other by." Beautiful job. Thank you, Denver. Okay. The next piece is Mozart's Lacrimosa. For those of you who don't know what this is from, it's from Mozart's Requiem. And in Roman Catholicism, a Requiem Mass is a piece of music that's written in honor of someone's death. Lacrimosa itself means weeping or tearful in Latin and is referring to the Virgin Mary or Our Lady of Sorrows. Mozart died before this piece was finished, and he only composed the first 8 bars, which you'll hear repeating throughout with variations. In general, funeral music is meant to provide catharsis to those who are in mourning, to ease the flow of their grief. Well done. Our final solo piano piece is Chopin's Nocturne in F minor. And this intro was written by AI. Not me. The rest I wrote, I was like, I'm too tired, I can't do it. So Chopin's Nocturne in F minor is considered a particularly melancholic and introspective piece, which was written towards the end of his life when he was dealing with declining health and a sense of impending mortality. The minor key and chromaticism in the music contribute to this somber mood. And this is just a helpful tidbit. Women pianists were the principal consumers of nocturnes, so they were mostly played by women. Thank you. break so we can have snacks, bathroom, whatever, and then when we come back, we'll have Stephanie. Also, may we also have, can you come up and down? This is our visual. Yay! Yes! Denver on the beach. Okay. So please help yourself to snacks and whatever, and we'll take a little break and then we come back for Stephanie. Thanks so much. Okay. Yay! All right. So this section is our final section of the evening of entertainment, live entertainment, and this is. Are we rolling? Sorry. Okay, great. And we are. This is starring Stephanie Bell, who's a fabulous mezzo that I met at Juilliard. Yes. And Stephanie was actually the Carabino in my Figaro in Prague. And literally made it all worth it. Okay? So I'm so blessed that she's here tonight. I will. Oh, thank you. Thanks. That's really nice. Okay, and then we have Manuel Arellano again on the piano. And that is one thing I always forget. I'm like, it's not just a singer, it's a pianist, because I was so focused on performance. She's also a beautiful actress, but I do want to say, I didn't direct this. This is just her. This is her and her rep. This is not, I'm taking no credit for this, except that it's part of a program, okay? So this is one of her pieces that she does in her rep, and it's, would you mind saying would you come?
Of course.
Okay. La Giustizia?
La Giustizia del Solarco.
From Giulio
Cesare.
Cesare. So Julius Caesar, the opera by Handel, okay? And this, she's playing the character called
Sexto,
which in English is Sextus, which is Pompeo's son. So if you don't know anything about this, this history, I know some of you do. I did Julius Caesar. Yeah, with some of them. So in this piece, Sesto vows to fight against the forces of tyranny and oppression, particularly against Cleopatra's brother Ptolomeo, who has killed his father, Pompey. The aria essentially signifies his commitment to achieving righteous retribution. Now, this is the translation of what she's going to sing in Italian. Justice. Oh wait, no, you know what? You do this.
Of
right
course,
here, right.
Of course.
Yes, with conviction. You can do this.
Justice now has its bow, and arrows ready for vengeance, which to punish a traitor. The longer the arrow is delayed, the harsher is the retribution, which awaits his wicked heart.
You kill him. You kill him.
La giustizia già sull'arco pronto strade la vendetta per punire un traditor per punire un traditor. La giustizia già sull'arco pronto strade alla vendetta per punire un traditor. Per punire un traditor. La giustizia già sull'arco pronto strade la vendetta per punire un traditor. Per punire un traditor. Quando è tarda la saetta, tanto più crudele aspetta. La sua pena nel mio cor, la sua pena nel mio cor, tanto più crudele aspetta la sua pena nel mio cor.
next one is called
Aus Luisa die Briefe.
by Mozart, which is based on a poem by Gabriele von Baumberg, who was a woman friend of Mozart, who was also known as the German Sappho. Okay, she wrote this poem when she was 18 years old, and this piece tells the story of a woman named Louise, burning love letters from an unfaithful lover, creating a dramatic piece that explores themes of betrayal and heartbreak through music. Essentially, he was composing a song based on a pre-existing poetic narrative about a woman's emotional turmoil. And this is in German.
Yes.
Would you like to also read this
Of
one?
course,
Yes.
I'd love
Here's the translation of what she's going to be talking about.
You, born of such hot fantasy, in revelry and so much gushing, brought to the world, oh, perish, you offspring of melancholy. The flames which made you into being, I give you back to those flames now. And all those songs of revelry, alas, he sang not just for me. You cherished letters, there you burn. And soon there is no trace of you. Alas, the man who once has penned you will possibly burn long in me. Erzeug von heiser Fantasie in einer schwärmerischen Stunde zur Welt gebracht. Geh zugrunde, geh zugrunde, ich Flammen neuer sein, ich geb euch nun den Flammen wieder und all die schwärmerischen Lieder, denn sang nicht mir allein, ihr brennet nun und bald, eben ist keine Spur von euch mehr. Doch, ach, der Mann, der euch geschrieben, brennt lange Nacht vielleicht in mir, brennt lange Nacht vielleicht in mir.
Okay, final one in English. Hey! This is called Bewitched, Bothered, and Bewildered by Rogers and Hart. And as you'll hear, the lyrics express the mixed emotions of being both attracted to and slightly troubled by someone. Creating a sense of being, I'm like, I know, every day, right? Creating a sense of being bewitched by their presence. And this is our final song.
He's a fool, and don't I know it? But a fool can have his charms. I'm in love, and don't I show it like a babe in arms? Love's the same old sad sensation. Lately, I've not slept a wink till this half-pint imitation put me on the brink.
ritual. Okay, this is so all it is I just would like to take a moment to think about all of the women who've been othered and have been persecuted for whatever reason, for being different. And so all we're gonna do is, Mom, you're gonna hold this, and then I'm gonna put this around. Just hold it. Like, yes. Okay, hold it in one hand. There we are. There we are. I know, I can direct this. I can do it. Okay, great. And now let me put this around your wrist like this. Okay. Boom. Okay, and now we go next. So all we're doing is unifying each other. Just one is fine. Yeah. Are you cool with that one? Is that good? Yeah. It's stretchy too, so it shouldn't hurt anybody. And this is all. I just want you to think about those women that have been different, or accused of anything, or might be sometime soon not feeling safe, or not feeling like they're normal or good enough, smart enough, that have been labeled crazy and locked up for that. People who have been, oh, can you come this way? Oh, yeah, sorry. Just scoot over one chair, please. So just think about anybody that you know who has struggled to seem normal or to fit in. And, hi, may I? Yes, just right around there. Great. Yes, if you don't mind, thank you for filling in. Great, can you grab this? Yes, and now you get the idea, I don't have to do it. So yeah, just keep thinking about it. And the reason I picked black thread is because in certain cultures, it's meant to keep away evil, okay? So it's like paired with the evil eye a lot as something that is a protective thing. So although I do in this project want to go to some very dark places and explore some very dark parts of humanity, this is my way of keeping us safe and just making sure that I'm doing it for the right reasons and that I'm not trying to exploit anybody, or that this is our barrier against making a mistake again. Okay? Would you like to do it? Yeah. Yeah, come on in, Stephanie. You want to do it? We can do it afterwards. Yeah, you want to do it? Let's do it. Yeah. So no one needs to hear me anymore. I swear to God. Okay. Okay. So all we're gonna do is, and then I need it back after Jaime. Okay. So you just wrap it once around your wrist, and you think positive things. You think protective things. Please surround me in this time. Please surround all the people who might be struggling in this time to feel normal or to fit in, or are being told that they're not enough, or they're too weird, too crazy, because those are my fucking people. Okay? So thanks so much. So we're just gonna take a minute to think about that as we have this all connected to each other. And I'm gonna hold the end with Mom. Okay, so just take a few deep breaths right here. There are supposed to be scissors.
behind the snack thing.
I'm like, good night, everybody. You're stuck in here forever. Okay, so now all you do is I'm gonna cut in between, and you can tie the ends, and it's a reminder of how protected you are and love between us and for all people who might be misunderstood for whatever reason. Okay? So I cut it, and it's just like, a ring on your finger to remind you of positive things about how beautiful you all are, that there is no normal, there is no good, bad, okay? And protection. Cool? That's the whole ritual. All right, now I cut. You got it, Mom? Mm-hmm. Cool. Here we go. Okay, you got yours? Good. Okay. Thank you. Beautiful. Ooh, this is gonna be a necklace. Okay. Okay. You get it. Oh, it's okay. Yeah, Yes, you can do that. Great, thank you so much. There you go, you got it? Yes. Okay, great. Yes, thank you. Uh-oh. Thank you. You good? Uh-oh, exciting. Hey, babe, you wanna do this? You wanna take over? There you go, pass it back. Here you go. So keep it wherever you want. This is just your little reminder. You're not crazy. Nobody's crazy, you know? You're not bad. You're not doing it wrong. You're not a witch, okay? So thank you everybody for supporting me in this like very unknown territory that I'm going into. And I feel so much more protected to have people like you in my life to help me create whatever weird shit I'm gonna make next. Okay? Thank you so much. I hope you enjoy. That's it.
Okay, all right, it's over. Feel free to snack and have whatever you want, and I'm just gonna be stacking chairs, you know. But please, if I haven't given you like an individual hug yet, please come hug me though. And if I don't know you, hi. Hi, please come meet me. I'd love to meet you. I'm like, who's in white? No, that's